You're being very quiet. You must be praying very deeply. Is it? You understand English, right?
Yes. Okay.
You ready?
Yes.
Are these the best ones for me?
These are the
Huh?
these are the
Why did you give me these ones?
because last time you know taking this.
Everyone good? You feel good? You getting better? You getting all your questions answered? Becoming clearer?
Yes, very clear.
How much of my English do you understand? What percent?
30%.
30%? All right. 30% of absolute is better than 100% of zero. ¿Comprende, amigo? You understand?
Hare Krishna.
Very bold talking. We ready? Just me and you, huh? Me and you. He's a PhD scholar. He has his thumb on the button. We're all scared. We're all scared. Hare Krishna. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna-katha Bhutale Shrimate Govinda Swami Name Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna-katha
Jaya Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajika Acharya Shishimad Gaur Govinda Swami Shri Gurudeva Ki Jai. Jaya Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajika Acharya Shishimad His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajika Acharya Shishimad His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Ahimsa Ghoshi Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Jai Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Sham Kund, Radha Kund, Giri Govardhan Ki, Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki, Shri Mayapur Navadvitam Ki, Shri Kshetra Jagannath Puri Dham Ki, Ganga Mai Ki, Jamuna Mai Ki, Bhakti Devi Ki, Tulasi Maharani Ki, Shri Shri Gauritar Ki, Shri Shri Krishna Balaram Ki, Shri Jagannath Baladev, Lady Subhadra Devis Ki, Shri Shri Radha Gopinatha Ki, Shri Shri Radha Gopal Ju Ki, Shri Shri Radha Madhava Ki, Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki, Premanam Sankirtan Jaki Ki, Oh, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Guru Shri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we are reading from Bhagavad Gita as it is. 6th chapter, Dhyana Yoga. Where's my yogi?
Yeah.
Oh, you're there, okay. We're going to make you a bhakti yogi. So Dhyana Yogi, 6:18. Please repeat. Yada Paniyatam Chitam Atmani Eva Avatistate Nispriha Sarva Kamebhya Yukta Iti Uchate Tada Yada Viniyatam Chittam Atmaneva Patistate Nispriha Sava Kamebhyo Yukta It Yuchate Tada Yada When Viniyatam particularly disciplined Chitam the mind and its activities Atmani in the transcendence Eva certainly Avatistate becomes situated Nispriha devoid of desire Sarva for all kinds of Kamebhya material sense gratification Yukta well situated in yoga Iti thus Uchite it is said to be Tada at that time. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada.
When the yogi, by practice of yoga, disciplines his mental activities and becomes situated in transcendence, devoid of all material desires, he is said to be well established in yoga. Please repeat. When the yogi, by practice of yoga, disciplines his mental activities, and becomes situated, in transcendence. Do you speak English? Follow me, right? You speak English? You. All right, you're repeating? All right, I want to hear you. I want to hear your strong voice. All right? Become situated in transcendence, devoid of all material desires. He is said to be well established in yoga. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The activities of the yogi are distinguished from those of an ordinary person by his characteristic cessation or stoppage from all kinds of material desires, of which sex is the chief. A perfect yogi is so well disciplined in the activities of the mind that he can no longer be disturbed by any kind of material desire. This perfectional stage can automatically be attained by persons in Krishna consciousness, as stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam in the 9th canto, 4th chapter, 18 through 20 verses. Say Sita? No? Savai Manakada Krishna Padara Vindaya Vachamsi Vaikuntha Gunanuvarnane Karo Hare Mandira Manjana Dishu Shutim Chakra Chutat Sat Katodaye Mukunda Lingalaya Darshane Jisho Tadritya Gata Sparshe Niga Sangamam Granam Chatat Pada Saroja Surabhe Shima Tulasya Rasanam Tad Apite Pado Hare Sheta Pada Nusar Pane Shiro Rishikesh Pada Bhavandane Kaman Shadase Natu Kama Kam Yaya Yato Tamashloka Janashaya Rati. Thank you for tolerating me. I'm trying. Pray for me. I'm not a big scholar. This verse is... Mother, please come. Sit down. So this is verse that's quoted by Srila Prabhupada, talking about perfectional stage, which can automatically be attained by persons who are in Krishna consciousness. King Ambarish, first of all, he engaged his mind on the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. So first he put his mind on the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. Then one after another, he engaged his words in describing the transcendental qualities of the Lord. In his hands, he was mopping the temple of the Lord. His ears, he was hearing of the activities of the Lord. His eyes, in seeing the transcendental forms of the Lord. His body, in touching the bodies of the devotees. His sense of smell, in smelling the scents of the lotus flowers offered to the Lord. His tongue, in tasting the tulsi leaf offered to the lotus feet of the Lord. His legs, in going to places of pilgrimage. and the temple of the Lord, his head in offering obeisances unto the Lord, and his desires in executing the mission of the Lord. All of these transcendental activities are quite befitting a pure devotee. Now that's a devotee. That's pure devotee. We're trying to be devotee, but what are we compared to that? So we should be very humble. Come up here. Sit over here. Yeah. I get used to everyone sitting in certain place. Then I go to look, he's gone. So I have to find you. Where are you? So this is how a pure devotee of the Lord is engaging himself. His intellect, his mind, his senses, his words, his service. All mind, intelligence, and senses completely engaged in service to the Lord and the Lord's dear devotees who are very dear to the Lord. Srila Prabhupada explains that this transcendental stage may be inexpressible subjectively by followers of impersonalist path. In other words, one who's impersonalist, they cannot understand how you can do all of this. They'll just speculate and screw out some kind of a meaning. Right? This is talking about direct service to the personality of Godhead, how an impersonalist can define or explain this type of verse. So they'll just screw out some kind of meaning. They're very crooked people, right? Very crooked. So for them, they cannot understand how this is possible. But, Prabhupada said, it becomes very easy and practical for a person who's Krishna conscious, as is apparent in the above description of the engagements of Maharaj Ambarish. Now this sentence is very important. Unless the mind is fixed on the lotus feet of the Lord by constant remembrance, such transcendental engagements are not practical. It's not possible. Unless our mind is fixed on the lotus feet of the Lord by constant remembrance, it is not practical that we're engaging with mind, intelligence, senses in this way in service to the Lord in transcendence. It's not possible. Prabhupada says it's not practical. In other words, you can't do it. It can't be done. So in the devotional service of the Lord, therefore, these prescribed activities, that's called archana, or engaging all the senses in the service of the Lord. The senses and the mind, they require positive spiritual engagements. Simple abnegation, not this, not that, not this, not that. This is not practical. We need positive spiritual engagement, mind, intellect, senses in the service of the Lord and the Lord's devotees. Otherwise, it's not practical. Can't be done. Therefore, for people in general, especially those who are not in the renounced order of the life, transcendental engagement of the senses and your mind, as described above, is the perfect process for transcendental achievement, which is called yukta in Bhagavad Gita. Om Jnana Tamaranda Shagana Jana Shamakaya Chaksham Litanjana Tasmai Shri. Again, translation. When yogi, by practice of yoga, disciplines his mental activities and becomes situated in transcendence, devoid of all material desires, he's said to be well established in yoga. So Krishna says, as long as your intelligence is many-branched and you have so much material desires, so much material attachment, and you're bewildered by all of these things, you cannot really practice yoga. You cannot really fix your mind on Krishna. The resolute determination, faith to practice devotional service, it doesn't really manifest itself because mind is stolen by illusion. We're still attracted, we're still attached, right, to this bodily, family, what is the word? Affections, right? So-called love in the material world. So Krishna said, Manmana Bhava Mat Bhakto, only think about me, not Maya. Serve me in everything that you do, not Maya. So this practice of yoga is how do you purify, how do we become purified of all of these material desires and material attachments which are not allowing us to be focused and determined in our surrendered service towards Krishna. So we have to realize this is great impediment, great obstacle, great disturbance for one who really wants to be devoted. This is not a small problem. So without Krishna's mercy and without the mercy of bona fide Guru, it's not possible for these material desires, sinful desires, material attachments, which is like strong, strong ropes, right? Devotees write, I'm haunted by these desires, I'm obsessed by these desires, especially sex, especially the sex life. This is the big one. Everyone's affected by it, gross or subtle, sex life. If that's not the desire, predominating desire, we would not be in a material body trying to somehow enjoy separate from Krishna. So this is a very deep-rooted problem, life after life for a long time. So without Krishna's mercy, and without Guru's mercy, and without our participation and cooperation with that process of purification, there's no question of these things being lifted out of the heart and the mind. And there's no way to get free from this addiction to this type of mental speculation. Therefore, it's not possible to become real devotee or pure devotee. So, to focus means devoid of all material desires. Then we can be well established in yoga. Now, yoga means that the soul, Atma, is connected to Paramatma Super Soul and acting as the eternal servant of Krishna and just simply taking dictation or intelligence from Krishna how to engage in devotional service. If we learn how to surrender by the mercy of our spiritual master and through the process, very serious engagement in the process of purification and devotional service, then all of these material desires and material attachments will become less strong. It will start to lose its attraction and start to lose, we'll start to lose our interest in it. The more we go on getting mercy of Guru and Krishna, getting higher taste and transcendental consciousness and the effects of that, all the benefits of that, then automatically these other material things, sinful desires and attachments, it becomes less important. If we don't have positive engagement and a positive result in Krishna consciousness in the right association, there's no way to give up these thoughts, these desires, these attachments. Impossible. So disciplining the mind and intellect senses means it has to be positively engaged according to Krishna's instruction that we received through the spiritual master. And there's general instructions meant for every soul, which is based on hearing and chanting about Krishna. So Prabhupada says, I chant Hare Krishna, then you're listening Krishna's name. Then you're chanting Hare Krishna, and then I'm listening to Krishna's name. Then in this way, by hearing and chanting, we'll be able to remember Krishna. So without sufficient hearing and chanting about Krishna, we cannot purify all these other thoughts and feelings and emotions and desires. Therefore, it's impossible to properly remember what is our position as an eternal servant of Krishna, and to remember Krishna himself. So Prabhupada's saying that without being Krishna conscious, by remembering Krishna through this hearing and chanting process, you cannot do all of these other things. You cannot keep your intellect, mind, and your senses engaged in this type of full engagement in transcendental devotional service. All of those activities are on transcendental platform. Without proper hearing and chanting and coming to transcendental platform and remembering our Swarup, that we're all eternal servants of Krishna, and Krishna is to be served, then this is not practical. We'll not be able to do this. Prabhupada says here, unless your mind is fixed on the lotus feet of the Lord by constant remembrance, these transcendental engagements, it's not even possible. It's not practical. So without the right association of bona fide Guru, Sadhu Guru, Vaishnava, without Krishna manifesting in that katha, without the speaker being qualified, without the hearer being qualified, there is no manifestation of Krishna. Krishna says, if you are sincere and serious in your hearing and chanting about me, and Prabhupada said, and you're addicted to that process, you're serious about that process, then Krishna says, this is the only way you can conquer me. I always say, every single time, this is our test. Can we be sincere and serious enough in our hearing and chanting that Krishna agrees to come? That Krishna comes is like the sun, all the darkness, all the ignorance, the tamagun, all the foolishness, all the misunderstandings, inauspiciousness, all of this thing gets cleared out. By mercy of Guru and Krishna, all of this nonsense, all of this material contamination, sinful thoughts, sinful desires will automatically free you. You become liberated. Without sufficient hearing and chanting about Krishna, there's no question of remembering Krishna. All we think is Maya. I'm the body, I'm in this family, I have material plans, I'm attached and attracted to the family members, the friends, society, friendship, and love. These are my affections, these are my thoughts, these are my plans, these are my activities. There's no question of remembering Krishna in such, mundane consciousness under modes of material nature. So then that's what Prabhupada was saying. Without proper hearing and chanting, purifying your consciousness and actually remembering Krishna with faith, not theoretically, then all of this engagement with your intellect, your mind, your senses, and your full activity, it's not possible. It's not really practical. It sounds like this is like impossible. But it begins with this general instructions that we get from our Guru of hearing and chanting and purifying your heart, purifying your consciousness, Cheto Dapanamajanam, with the idea that we're trying to attract Krishna so that we can get free and purified of all of this garbage, all of this nonsense that is going on there in the heart and the mind. That's the work of a devotee. Devotee doesn't say, I'm attracted and attached to all of these things and I want to keep it that way. That's not even, a devotee will never think like that. Devotee will think like, this is killing me and somehow or other this has to be eliminated. Now we may not be strong enough, smart enough, capable enough, that's another topic. But then with mercy of Krishna, mercy of Guru, mercy of Vaishnavas, and the process itself, in due course of time, gradually these material contamination and desires and attachments, these things will leave us. Prabhupada says here, one who is perfect yogi is so well disciplined in the activities of their mind because they know how to put their mind at Krishna lotus feet. They have unflinching faith in Krishna, and they know without putting your head at the lotus feet of Krishna and begging shelter from Krishna, there is no question of purifying and controlling your mind and senses. So devotee knows that without a doubt. And in such a way they can no longer, a perfect yogi is so well disciplined in the activities of the mind that he can no longer be disturbed by any kind of material desire. We're disturbed because of material desires and unfulfilled material desire, because we don't have the faith and the understanding and the spiritual strength and realization how to overcome the strength of those material desires. Then we become victim. I'm just a victim of my thoughts, I'm a victim of my desires, I'm a victim of my emotions, what to do. But if we become strong in our Krishna consciousness, we'll understand. If we surrender to Krishna, to Guru Krishna's instructions wholeheartedly, seriously, then Krishna says, I'll release you from Maya. I'll show special mercy on you, and I'll purify all of these material desires that are in your heart and your mind, that is due to this tamagun and rajagun. Krishna says, I'll destroy it. I'll take it away from you. Not only material desires, material attachments, Krishna says also all your sinful reactions. We're suffering, whatever suffering is because of sinful reaction. So Krishna says, you surrender to me, I'll destroy all your sinful reactions. Only devotee can become peaceful because they're not harassed by Maya in the form of their material desires. They're not hankering, and neither are they lamenting. Because unless you find peace at the lotus feet of Guru and Krishna, there's no question of getting free from hankering and mental speculation and lamenting or being frustrated that you can't achieve it or get it, or you had it and lost it. Materialistic people, that's all they can think about. That's why they're never peaceful. And this material, bodily, family affection, we were reading yesterday, this is the root cause of every other materialistic thought and activity that we engage in. That attachment. Because it puts us in the bodily concept of life. Oh, I am the son, I am the brother, I'm the father, I'm the mother, I'm the daughter, right? I'm a family member, this is my family, this is my kith and kin, right? I'm Indian, I'm American, I'm British, France, whatever your body is, right? Total. Where are you from? Colombia? I'm Colombian. Right, so we just Italy, right?
No.
No, where are you from? What's your excuse? Huh? Where's he from? He's a Muslim? He's a Muslim man? Huh? No, where is he from?
Internazionale, coscienza di Krishna.
Vaikuntha?
International Society of Krishna.
Where?
International Society of Krishna.
You're from the planet of Krishna? But you were telling the other day you like Maya. So are you from Krishna planet or Maya planet? Let's pick a planet. Are you from Krishna planet or Maya planet? We'll put your location services on. We'll find out where you're really at. We'll see what you're really thinking about. Huh? So these are bodily consciousness. Right? Is everyone dealing with you? Oh, you're my son, you're my brother, you're my sister, you're my wife, you're my husband, right? Then you're like, oh yes. right? Immediately, right? There's love and affection, materially, oh yes. Right? Everybody's looking for love. What was that famous song? They're looking for love, but in all the wrong places. Everybody's looking for love, but in all the wrong places. That love, devotion, that comes from Krishna in Krishna consciousness. So this attachment to bodily family, relationships, so-called love and affection, this is the root of every other material thought and plan and activity that you make in the material world. That's what it said yesterday. So devotee knows this strong ropes of bodily attachment and family attachment and the so-called society, friendship, and love needs to be cut in order to free the soul in their consciousness, mind, intellect, and senses, so they can freely engage in devotional service to Krishna. That's the work of devotee. They realize, no, I'm attracted, I'm attached, Maya is too strong, so many material desires, material attachment, but all of this is a great impediment and obstacle. How to get Krishna, how to go to Krishna. All of this, we're wasting our time because old age, disease, and death is coming. The whole point is, where does our soul go after this? Nobody's thinking about that. We're just serving in the family of Maya instead of serving in Krishna's family. Krishna's family means soul platform, transcendental platform. Maya family means a bodily platform. And that's where all the suffering is coming, on bodily platform. So unless we understand how to surrender to Krishna by the mercy of our Guru, He's giving us instructions. You hear and chant nicely. Prabhupada said, chant 16 rounds, try to give up offenses. Right? That kind of chanting. Don't maintain your material desires, material attachments. Don't be spaced out and distracted and making so many materialistic plans. Right? That hearing and chanting will not be effective. There's no way we're going to meditate on all things material and then at the end you put your beads down and you're going to remember Krishna. Yes, we were hearing and chanting. Now we're going to remember Krishna. So without proper hearing and chanting, there's no question of remembering Krishna or remembering that we're even eternal servants of Krishna. We just think we're products of material nature, not the spiritual nature. And Prabhupada says, without that constant remembrance, then how do you have the consciousness and the remembrance and the intelligence to then engage your eyes and seeing the Lord and your voice and talking about Krishna and your ear and hearing about Krishna? How do we engage all the intellect, mind, and senses in the specific services given to us by Krishna through the Guru? Prabhupada says, unless your mind is fixed, they were saying if you are attached to the Guru and the instructions of the Guru, then you're attached in Krishna consciousness. Without that positive engagement and willing cooperation and seriousness and following, understanding clearly, following the instruction of Krishna that we receive through the Guru, without making those instructions life and soul, we're not serious. So there's no question of attaching ourselves or surrendering to Krishna or getting free from Maya. Unless your mind is fixed in the lotus feet of the Lord by constant remembrance. Right? How do you get constant remembrance? Hearing and chanting. Right? By hearing and chanting about Krishna. This is like a medicine. Right? That constant association with Krishna through hearing and chanting and taking prasadam, that will purify all of the material consciousness, all of the tamagun, rajagun, bodily conception of life. Prabhupada says the bodily conception of life is the material disease. And 99.9% of the people in the material world, all they know is their body, their mind, their bodily relations. They don't know the soul, they don't know the Supreme Soul. Completely captured by Maya. Completely entangled up by Maya. Like shackles. The sex life, your shackles of sex life. So without surrender to Krishna, Rishikesh, master of mind and senses, nobody can get free from this desire or activities. Only mercy of Krishna, mercy of Guru. Even it says you get mercy, if not even come in your dreams. What to speak of your conscious thoughts. Not even, it won't even cross your mind if you get mercy of Guru and Krishna. It's hard to believe because we're constantly disturbed, agitated, attracted, and attached for this sex life, harassed, haunted, isn't it? A perfect yogi is so well disciplined in the activities of their mind that they can no longer be disturbed by any kind of material desire. That's sadhu. No material desire will disturb them. Because they know how to overcome it. They know just if something comes, surrender to Krishna. Take shelter of Krishna. Cry to Krishna, pray to Krishna. Then Krishna says, okay, this person takes shelter. He said, I took a vow to protect you. If you do like that, I take a vow to protect you and I'll make you fearless. You'll not be afraid. And you'll know how to overcome Maya by surrendering and depending on the mercy of Guru Krishna. And that mercy of Guru Krishna comes by the execution of those instructions. God helps those who help themselves, Prabhupada says. That also was here. Any questions so far? Krishna says one should engage oneself in the practice of yoga with determination and faith. But the doubts, the material attachments, the intelligence many-branched, and undermining our faith and determination. Because of these thoughts, these desires, these doubts. See, if we want to do nonsense, you want to enjoy sinful life, sense gratification, you need some doubts. Right? Because if you have doubts, then you have some good excuse to not to do it. If you have no doubts, then Krishna will say this is insanity, this is suicide. So when you want to do, we're so crooked, attachment is so strong, then if I just had some doubts, I can a little bit hesitate, I can put the brakes on this process. Because it's moving too fast. So now I'm having some doubts. I'm just trying to understand. We're just buying time. We need some excuse because we want to save our face. Isn't it? If you say I have doubts, we're actually saying we're very intelligent. Right? But where are the doubts coming from? It's coming from Maya. So what's intelligent about that? But we think, no, when we're doubting and we're careful and we're suspicious and we're skeptical. This is intelligence. Right? So when we want Maya, desire so strong, you need some doubts which will make you, convince you why you don't have to accept all these instructions. Why it's not practical. It's a type of nice cheating, isn't it? Now I just have to see, I just have to think through this. I have to analyze what is what. Right? Now we stopped hearing the truth. Now we're just listening to Maya, and Maya saying, yes, this is very smart of you. You have some good doubts, good intelligence. Then you're slowing down and hesitating, right? It says if you're doubting, doubts are like demons. So we're listening to the demons of the doubts, and Krishna says your doubts are undermining your faith and determination to surrender and serve Krishna. So you have doubts, those who are doubtful, not faithful, and determined to surrender to serve Krishna, they'll be miserable, disturbed in this life and in the next life because of the doubts. Krishna is saying you should engage yourself in the practice of yoga with determination and faith and not at all be deviated from the path. Why we're getting deviated from the path, why we're losing our faith and determination. Maya. We're listening to Maya. One should abandon without any exception. Right? You're saying you want Krishna and Maya. Right? Krishna is saying you should abandon without any exception all material desires, which are born out of your mental speculation. Maya's sitting place is the mind, intelligence, material senses. So all of this mental speculation, Maya is just creating your material desires. The idle mind is the devil's workshop. If we don't engage our intellect, mind, and senses in serving Guru Krishna, then immediately Maya comes in, puts material thoughts, material desires, material plans. Krishna is saying you should abandon all of this and all of these material desires which are born out of your mental speculation. Prabhupada said this is the problem, everyone's addicted to mental speculation. They're not hearing from Krishna, they're not hearing from Guru, they're not hearing from the Shastra. Krishna said, you're lost. You're lost in your mental speculations. Your mind is bewildered by all of these materialistic thoughts and desires. Therefore, your mind and senses are disturbed and out of control. Means no peace, no happiness. Prabhupada says we should perform devotional service. We should have great faith and determination and patiently practice step by step without deviation. In the last paragraph, Prabhupada said, the practice of yoga, especially bhakti yoga, in Krishna consciousness, it may appear to be a very difficult job. It seems impossible. It may appear to be a very difficult job. I remember my Gurudev many times, he said, this is so simple. It's so simple. Why are you complicating this thing? So simple to understand, so simple to execute if you're simple. For the simple-hearted, it's very simple. But those who are crooked, those who are dishonest, kapatis, kapatya, right? Not simple people, complicated people, because of mental speculation, material desires, material attachment, all of the plans. Maya has us, sitting on the material planning commission. Dave is he's the president of the material planning commission. I get a plan. So it may appear to be a very difficult job, but Prabhupada said, but if anyone sincerely follows these principles and instructions with great determination, the Lord will surely help you. For God helps those who help themselves. So without getting free from doubts, those doubts are undermining our faith and our determination. The Guru's job is to destroy your doubts and give you faith and strength and determination. If you're sitting with the doubts are like demons, you're listening to all of that, complicating everything, disturbing everything, so many material thoughts, so many material desires, so many plans, material plans. It's Maya's plans. Gradually, step by step, Krishna says, you should become situated in trance, fixed, determined in faith by means of spiritual intelligence, sustained by full conviction. Without Krishna and Guru, mercy, how you'll have spiritual intelligence which is sustained, supported by full conviction? If you have so many doubts, you're addicted to mental speculation, how are you going to have spiritual intelligence sustained by full conviction and faith in Krishna and Guru in the process of devotional service? Prabhupada says, by proper conviction and intelligence, which comes from Krishna, one should gradually cease sense activities, gradual process of purification. Your mind, intelligence is meant to control the mind. The mind being controlled by conviction, unflinching faith. Conviction means unflinching faith. Means Krishna convinced you. If Krishna, Guru don't convince your soul, you don't have intelligence and faith by Guru Krishna mercy, then all that's left is Maya. Then we'll just be listening to our feelings, our emotions, our thoughts. Where's it coming from? Maya. If we're in that type of intelligence, conviction, faith, no doubts, no demons of doubt, means no hesitation, at that time, then there's no longer any danger of becoming engaged in the material conception of life. By mercy of Guru Krishna, you can keep yourself in transcendence or Brahman, Vaishnava, soul platform consciousness. And in other words, although one is involved with the matter, as long as the material body is existing, one should not think about sense gratification. So how do you not think about sense gratification? Unless we have a higher intelligence, a higher plan, a higher calling, higher engagement,
Yes.
intellect, mind, and senses, there's no way to overcome Maya's influencing our material intelligence and senses. One should think of no pleasure aside from the pleasure of the Supreme Self. We're worrying about our own pleasure. I, me, mine. Right, Srinivas? I, me, and mine. Are we worrying about Krishna's pleasure? And Guru and Krishna's pleasure? Krishna says, wherever your mind is wandering around, like stray dog, just sniffing around, looking for trouble, huh? Sniffing around, seeing what's available. Wherever the mind is wandering, and due to its flickering and unsteady nature, Prabhupada was talking other night, that unless you're surrendered to Guru Krishna, nobody can stop the flickering and unsteady nature of the mind, because there's no final resting place for the mind. We've not agreed for the final resting place of the mind, because Maya is not allowing us. We're not convinced. We like have insurance policy, just in case. I have insurance policy. Wasn't it Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj? Then he was saying that when some people came for instructions, he said, you cannot come to the Guru with return ticket. Only one-way ticket. When you come to the Guru, you cannot show up with a return ticket. You cannot come with an insurance policy, just in case. One-way ticket, no insurance policy required. Now you can completely depend on Guru and Krishna. Then you're serious. Well, let me just see, and if it doesn't work out, I have a return ticket.
Yes.
I can still get out of here. Right? Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj said, you're going to go to the Guru like that. The Guru will know. He has a return ticket. He's saying from the lips, yes, 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 but inside he knows he has a return ticket. Then it's okay, give me that return ticket. I'm not ready. I don't think I'm ready.
Yes.
I'm not ready. So Prabhupada says this mind, Krishna says wherever the mind is wandering, because it's not on Guru and Krishna instruction, we're not fixed up, then your mind is wandering around, sniffing around, it's flickering, unsteady nature. Krishna says one must certainly withdraw it and bring it back under the control of the self. You were talking about this today, right, in your questioning. So intelligence controls the mind. If the intelligence is firm faith, conviction from Krishna and Guru in those instructions, you take those absolutely, then you can control your mind. The intelligence from Krishna is supposed to tell the mind what to do. The soul, super soul, tells the intelligence what to do. Then the intelligence tells the mind what to do. And then the mind tells the rest of the senses what to do. So if we don't have higher instruction and engagement, on transcendental intelligence platform, then we cannot direct the mind towards that spiritual engagement in the instructions, following the instructions of Krishna that we received through the Guru. That's the only way to bring the mind under control. And it's based on surrender to Krishna. By following the Guru's instructions, Krishna says, okay, now you're trying to surrender, I'll purify and control your mind and senses for you. I'll tell Maya to stop haunting you. Stop disturbing you with all of these other thoughts and desires. When we're trying to surrender these thoughts and desires, you don't even think about it, or it doesn't bother you. Right? Because you're too engaged. But when we're not surrendering, and we're hesitating, we're doubting, we have undermined faith and determination, now we're in a weakened state, then immediately Maya steps in and says, well, I'll tell you what to do. Since you're not listening to Guru and Krishna, Maya's like, well, have you ever thought about this? Oh. Yeah, we've talked about this before, Maya. Then it comes again and again and again, and so confirmation, it's coming again and again and again. Krishna must want me to do it. Then again. So Prabhupada says the nature of your mind is it's flickering, chanchalam, and it's unsteady. Because it's controlled by Maya, not Krishna. But a self-realized soul, self-realized yogi, has to control the mind, and the mind should not control him. Right? Remember we were saying we're getting dragged by the chain, by Maya? And what do we say?
When I get out of these chains.
Yeah, when I get out of this chain, I'm going to tell you a thing or two.
Yes.
So in transcendental sense happiness, it means the senses. The mind is the chief of the senses. The mind and the senses are engaged in the service of Rishikesha. That's another name for Krishna. You see, Ambarish Maharaj, he engaging his intelligence, his mind, all of his senses, all of his thoughts, activities, intelligence, everything in service to Krishna, and serving Krishna, trying to please Krishna's senses. In transcendental sense happiness, we want to try to please our mind and senses without making it transcendental. That's the problem. Prabhupada said, you want to be happy, you don't know how to be happy. Instead of serving Krishna, you're serving Maya. Instead of engaging your senses in transcendental sense engagement, which will give you transcendental happiness, instead you're engaging your mind and senses in service to Maya, and you're just getting heavy, heavy lashes from Maya. And transcendental sense happiness, the senses are engaged in the service of Rishikesha, or the supreme owner of the senses, Krishna. Right? It's my body, my mind, my senses. No, the owner of that mind and the body and the senses is Krishna. But Maya is saying, we're forgetting Krishna. We're separate from Krishna. We're independent. Prabhupada said the other day, nobody's independent of Krishna. If you engage your senses in service to Rishikesh, who is the supreme owner of the senses, Krishna, serving Krishna with purified senses is called Krishna consciousness. So without hearing and chanting, purifying mind and senses in Krishna consciousness, remembering Krishna, you cannot engage intellect, mind, and senses in devotional service. This is the way to bring the mind and the senses under full control. So we use our intellect, mind, and senses in service to Krishna by following the instructions that Krishna gave us through the Guru. That is a conscious, cooperative act of surrender. Krishna says, I'll purify and control your material mind and your senses and get rid of your sinful material desires and your sinful reactions so that you can properly understand me and serve me and ultimately come back to me. Krishna said the yogi whose mind is fixed on me, right now it's fixed on Maya. But somehow you get mercy of Guru Krishna, you fix your mind on Krishna. Krishna says he attains the highest perfection of transcendental happiness. It's so amazing. Krishna's trying to give us the highest perfection of transcendental happiness, and we're so foolish, so stupid, that we're not taking him up on that offer. It's unbelievable. We're believing Maya that she can make a plan for our happiness, and Krishna is giving us a golden ticket, golden opportunity for the highest, not only just it'll make you peaceful and happy, the highest perfection of transcendental happiness. And we're like, whatever. That's interesting. It's unbelievable. Maya is not attracting us to that offer, to the highest perfection of transcendental happiness, and we're like, okay, I'm busy now. I have some other things to do. I gotta go shopping. I need some new shoes. And then Krishna says, then you'll be free from all of the sinful reaction due to all of your past deeds, all of your sinful activities that you've committed. You attain the highest perfection of transcendental happiness beyond the modes of material nature, beyond the modes of passion. You come to transcendental platform, and you'll be free from all of your reactions, all the sinful reactions, which is the cause of your suffering condition, due to all of your past sinful activity. I'll free you. And we're like, oh yeah, whatever. We're not taking it serious. Maya is not allowing us to take it serious. Because we're preoccupied with other thoughts, other desires, other plans, which we consider to be more relevant, more important, more significant. And therefore Krishna says you're bewildered. Your mind is stolen by illusion. Therefore your resolute determination and faith to take this offer not manifesting itself. You're condemned. Prabhupada said you're condemned by the material energy. Prabhupada says in his purport, this Brahma Bhuta, transcendental platform, this is the state of being free from all material contamination and situated in transcendental loving service of the Lord. That's Brahma Bhuta platform, transcendental Vaishnava platform. Above the modes of material nature, above the bodily conception of life, above material thoughts, desires, activities. One cannot remain in that quality or that consciousness of Brahman, fixed in the absolute, until one's mind is fixed in the lotus feet of the Lord. So without Krishna's mercy and Guru's mercy, how are we going to have the faith, the intelligence, and the willingness to fix our mind at the lotus feet of Krishna? How is that possible? If Krishna doesn't help us, and Guru doesn't help us, and qualify us, and reveal himself to us, How will have intelligence and faith enough to even attempt that? And then we don't even know how to do it. That's why we need the mercy of the Guru. Are you listening?
Yes.
One cannot remain in the quality of Brahman, the absolute, until his mind is fixed at the lotus feet of the Lord. So Maya trying to pull your mind somewhere else, and Guru and Krishna are trying to pull your mind back. There's a competition for your soul. Isn't it? Maya is pulling you. She's covering you and pulling you, and Guru and Krishna are saying, no, purify yourself and stay. Don't listen to Maya. You're getting tricked. She's covering your good intelligence, and she's pulling you away from seriousness to the path. That's what Maya does. She has covering potency and pulling, dragging potency. Without Krishna, without mercy of Guru and Krishna, nobody can avoid that effect of Maya. Mercy is required. Oh, I'm fighting Maya. I'm purifying myself. I'm trying to control my mind and senses. I'm trying not to think about bad things. Good luck. Good luck. Without mercy of Guru Krishna, it's not at all possible. It's based on mercy. And without surrender and without the right mood to get that mercy, it's impossible to overcome Maya, to get out of Maya. Prabhupada says to be always engaged in this platform, transcendental loving service, to remain in Krishna consciousness, is to be factually liberated. That's a platform of factual liberation from the modes of tamagun, rajagun, and all material contamination. Without personalities who are on that platform, and without them pulling us up and protecting us and purifying us, there's no question of being in that level of consciousness, or have that level of faith or understanding. Because it's based on mercy. It's not academic. It's not by power of mental speculation. It's not the philosophical research work. It's based on how to get mercy from Krishna. Prabhupada said, two mercy required. Krishna's mercy. If you're crying to Krishna, Krishna, if you don't shower mercy, I'm finished. If you don't help me, I'm lost. Then he'll send his representative, bona fide Guru. The Guru will pick you up, and he'll say, Krishna sent me to help you. You say you want Krishna, you want shelter and protection, okay. This is how Krishna is going to help you. If you're smart enough, you'll understand it and take advantage of the opportunity that's being presented to you. If we're foolish speculators, we're just looking for excuses not to surrender, maintaining doubts, thinking ourselves very wise because we have doubts. No, I'm just doubting. I'm just intelligent. No, Krishna says your doubts are like demons. You're maintaining demons, and you're thinking you're intelligent. You just depend on Krishna. Krishna will give you intelligence. Isn't it? Krishna will give you intelligence. Who are you listening to? If you are controlled by Krishna, controlled by Guru, engaged in devotional service to the Lord, and you're constantly, seriously engaged in that yoga practice, you become free by the mercy of the Lord and the Lord's devotee from all of your material contamination. That's how to get free from your material contamination. Oh, I'm just trying to purify myself. I took a bath in the Ganga today. Okay, that will purify you. We also need her mercy. But the Bhagavatam also said the cows and the buffaloes and the asses, they're also bathing in the Ganga. Right? What's the difference between us and the animals who are bathing in the Ganga? Is we can hear krishna-katha, Hari-katha, from lips of devotee, pure devotee. Right? That's the difference. Krishna says someone who's really yogi, true devotee, true yogi, he observes me, he can see that I'm in the heart of every living entity. A true yogi observes me in the heart of all beings, and also he sees every being in relationship to me. So Krishna, Guru, Shiguru, Vaishnava, real yogi, he has unflinching faith and realization how Krishna is in the heart of every living entity and how every living entity belongs to Krishna and has an eternal loving relationship with Krishna. Indeed, Krishna says, such self-realized, Krishna-conscious person sees me, the Supreme Lord, everywhere, inside and outside. Wherever he sees Krishna, Krishna's energy. Hare Krishna. Do you have an appointment? Anyone have an appointment? You all right? Am I doing all right? You have patience? Yeah? A Krishna-conscious yogi, Prabhupada says, Krishna-conscious yogi, you can shut the door, is a Krishna-conscious yogi is the perfect seer because he sees Krishna, the Supreme, situated in everyone's heart as Supersoul, Paramatma. He can perfectly see how Krishna is in everyone's heart as Supersoul, Paramatma. Ishvara Sava Bhutanam Hrideshe Rajuna Tishtati. The Lord, in His Paramatma feature, is situated within both the heart of the dog and the heart of the elephant and the heart of the Brahmana. The perfect yogi knows the Lord is eternally transcendental. He's never materially affected. Whether he's in the body of a dog or whether he's in the body of a Brahmana. Krishna's there, he's totally transcendental, and he's never affected or contaminated by any type of material contamination. The Lord is supremely neutral. That is the supreme neutrality of the Lord, Prabhupada said. The individual soul is also situated in the individual heart. So Krishna is in everyone's heart, but we the soul, we're only in our own heart. We're not in everyone else's heart. Krishna is in everyone's heart, but we are only in our own heart with Krishna. That is the difference between the individual soul and the super soul. So super soul, Krishna says, I'm super soul, I'm in everybody's heart. But the individual soul, we're not in everybody's heart. We're only within our own heart. That's the difference. between God, Paramatma, and Atma. One who is not factually in the practice of yoga cannot see and understand this clearly. So if we are not getting our merciful intelligence and faith and purification from Krishna, the Guru, Shastra, we cannot clearly understand that or see that. A Krishna conscious person, Prabhupada says, can see in the heart of both the believer and the non-believer. Right? If he can see Krishna's in the heart of the dog, he's in the heart of the Brahmana. Krishna's in the heart of the believer, one who believes in him, and the unbeliever, one who doesn't have faith. He still sees Krishna's in that person's heart. But because Krishna says, because you want to forget me, I'll make you forget me. So Krishna conscious person knows that person wants to forget Krishna, so Krishna's covering their good intelligence. He's in their heart, but he's using Maya to cover their spiritual intelligence. Consequently, Prabhupada says, Super Soul is always in every living being. Outwardly, every living being is situated in the energy of the Lord. Every living being is situated in the energy of the Lord. The Lord has two energies, primary energy, spiritual or superior energy, and the material or the inferior energy. It's all Krishna's energy, it's just superior or inferior. It's just eternally situated or temporary manifestation. That's why it's called inferior, because it's just temporary manifestation. So the body is temporary. It's Krishna's energy, but it's inferior in the sense that it's just temporary. The soul is eternal, right? So although the living entity, although he's part and parcel of the superior energy, the soul is part of the superior energy, the person's conditioned, contaminated by the inferior energy, by Maya. But the living entity is always in the Lord's energy. So every living entity is situated in him one way or another. So we may not be conscious of that, of our soul. We may not be conscious of that this body is made of spiritual energy, which belongs to Krishna. We may not understand that because of false ego or ignorance, but it's a fact that the soul and the body is all Krishna's energy, and Krishna is the controller of all of those energies. So every living entity, Prabhupada says, is situated in him, in Krishna, one way or another. While in the material energy, the living entity, oh wait, before that, Prabhupada says the yogi sees equally because he sees all living entities, although they all have different situations according to their karma, in all circumstances remain the servants of God. So real yogi understands that every soul belongs to Krishna, and every soul is meant to serve Krishna, is created for that purpose. While in the material energy, the living entity serves the material senses. While in the spiritual energy, he serves the Supreme Lord's senses directly. In either case, the living entity is a servant of God. It's just what energy are we serving? Are we serving Krishna's superior energy, or are we serving Krishna's inferior energy? Everyone's servant. Everyone's serving Krishna, either in spiritual energy or inferior external material energy. So this vision of equality, that is perfect in a person who's Krishna conscious. Krishna says, whoever sees me everywhere, inside and out, sees everything in me and in relationship to me, I am never lost to that person. I'm never lost, nor is he ever lost to me. That's the vision that we are supposed to be in Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada says a person who is Krishna conscious, certainly he sees Lord Krishna everywhere. Wherever he looks, he sees Krishna's inferior energy and superior energy. He doesn't see anything that is disconnected from Krishna. Everything is Krishna's energy, and it's just being used for different purposes. So such Krishna conscious person, everywhere he sees Lord Krishna is everywhere, and he sees everything in Krishna. Now such a person may appear to see all separate manifestations of the material nature, but in each and every instance he's conscious of Krishna, knowing that everything is a manifestation of Krishna's energy. Krishna said your body, earth, water, fire, air, ether, that's what the body is made of. That's my energy, Krishna says. Mind, intelligence, false ego. Right? Those are my separated, inferior energy. And superior to that is the soul, the Atma, which is also my energy, but superior energy. So both superior energy on soul and inferior energy of the material body, Krishna said those are all of my energies. But in our foolishness, our ignorance, just no, it's my body. I belong to myself. So the false ego is blocking our spiritual intelligence. We're thinking we're separate from Krishna. We're forgetting Krishna. I belong to myself, it's my body, it's my mind, it's my thoughts, it's my plan. But actually, it's all coming from Krishna. He's controlling all of his energies, but Krishna is thinking you're controlling. You're thinking you're doing, you're thinking, you're planning, you're acting. In actuality, Krishna says, no, I'm doing it. He's either doing directly through superior energy or indirectly through the external material energy. Any questions, points? Anything? On any of this topic? This is what it means to be yogi. This is what it means to be yoga teacher. In the real sense of the word. Yeah?
So whenever we become conscious by the grace of...
You have a microphone?
Sorry.
She says, whenever we become conscious.
What?
Whenever we become conscious by the grace of.
What happens?
So whenever we become conscious by the grace of Guru and Krishna that we're in Maya, then we have to take to the holy name.
Then we have to what?
She says, whenever we become conscious by the grace of Guru and Krishna of our position, then we have to take shelter of the holy name.
Then we have to agree, if we really come to consciousness, by mercy of Guru Krishna, will understand that we're really servant of Krishna. That we should agree that I want to serve Krishna. I don't want to serve Maya. I don't want to be in Maya anymore. I don't want to serve Maya's plan. I want to serve what is Krishna's plan for me. So if you come to that understanding that I don't want to be in Maya anymore, I don't want to be servant of Maya, I want to be servant of Krishna. I'm sick of coming with my own plan. What is Krishna's plan? I need to know, and I'm prepared to try to understand it, accept it, and execute it. If we come to nice consciousness, Krishna consciousness, that's the way that we'll be thinking. How do I understand what Krishna wants me to do? What is my service? How can I surrender and serve you, Krishna, instead of Maya? Instead of being in Maya and serving the dictations of lust and mind and senses and all these materialistic thoughts and materialistic desires and plans, concoctions, Maya's manufacturing so much speculation, plans, ideas, sinful desires, sinful attachments, sinful activities. If you're fed up with all of that, that means you're getting good intelligence. You're coming to the right consciousness. Yes, I should surrender to Krishna. Right? Is that what's happening, I hope? Then it's just ask Krishna, okay, please, how can I serve you? And then Krishna will tell through the Guru. The Guru will ask Krishna, Krishna, how do you want to engage your servant? It's not that the Guru is just saying, okay, how should I engage you? The Guru is asking Krishna, Krishna, what is best for this person? What practically can they do? What will you accept as their devotional service, as an act of surrender? But the Guru doesn't have some separate idea and plan. He's depending on Krishna. So it doesn't matter to the Guru whether you're married or not married, or you live here or you live there, or you do this service or that service. That doesn't matter to the Guru. Is what does Krishna want? So if you're praying what does Krishna want, and the Guru is praying what does Krishna want, then by their mercy the answers will come out. And then when you follow the instruction, you put faith in it and follow the instruction, you get a great result. Then you get freed from your mental disturbance and speculation. You get free from your anxiety. You become more peaceful, more healthy, more happy. You'll see by the results that yes, I'm getting a nice result by the mercy of Guru Krishna. That gives me faith. And then if the Guru is instructing you and you're cooperating and taking it, and he sees that you're getting Krishna's mercy, and you're advancing, and you're becoming more peaceful and happy and healthy, that gives the Guru faith as well. Oh, that means those instructions worked. Right? That means Krishna's, he empowering those instructions because it's working. That means Krishna's behind it. Otherwise, how you can get such a result? Make sense? And then if you're getting such nice result, that should give you faith. Otherwise, how can you get transcendental spiritual benefit unless Krishna and the Guru are blessing you? Showering their mercy and blessing on you. How is it possible to get such a result? It's practical. Prabhupada said you judge by the results. Many people saying they're guru, many people trying to instruct us, many people giving advice, many people saying so many things. But what result are we getting? That's the question. If it's not working, try something else. Try somebody else until you get a result which is satisfying to you, which is practically working for you. I'm not forcing people to come to me. This is for your benefit, that you get instruction from Krishna. Isn't it? Krishna doesn't need our seva. We need the ability to offer our seva. Does that help? So general and specific instructions. General instructions means chanting, hearing and chanting in association of devotees. And then specific instructions are different. If you're grihastha, you're brahmachari, vanapras, sannyas, different instructions, different seva. So all of these intricacies of that seva according to your psychophysical nature and position in Vedic Varnashram system, all of that has to be taken into consideration. And that information and instruction is delivered through a bona fide guru. Hare Krishna. Jeev Jago. That's why I made you come up here. Because I know he's going to start falling asleep. If he's back there, he can just like blend into the crowd. That's what he was planning. I'll just be back here. Maharaj will not see me. If I nod off a little bit, take a little nap, little snap. I saw my Gurudev, he never missed anything. You could not hide anywhere because Krishna will tell him, this person's doing like this, that, you know. He would, one time I went to go to the Mangalati and my dhoti, I was grihastha, my dhoti was wet, it didn't dry. So I said, oh, you know, my cloth is not dry, but I want to go to Mangalati, you know, what am I going to do? So I said, okay, I'll put on some yogi pants. And I never wear yogi pants, but I had something, I said, okay, let me put on yogi pants, I'll just go to Mangalati. And Maharaj, my Gurudev, not all the time he's going to Mangalati, very rarely. So I said, okay, Maharaj probably won't be there, and I'll just put on the yogi pants. Anyway, I'll get through that Mangalati, you know. So then I go in the temple. I feel a little embarrassed because I have yogi pants on. And I'm just standing there. Then Maharaj comes to Mangalati. I was like, oh no, Maharaj is here, you know. So then I'm like hiding behind the crowd. I'm just behind like many, many devotees. I'm like, oh, you know, I've not let Gurudev see me, you know. Because I know he's not going to appreciate it. So then Maharaj, and finally Tulsi Puja coming, right? Maharaj, he put the water for Tulsi Maharani, he paid his obeisances, then he walked out of the temple. I was like, wow. Nobody could make me feel like this except my Guru. I tell you, I'm not afraid of anybody except my Guru. He was so heavy, and I don't want to displease him. So then finally Maharaj left. I said, okay, now I'll go. I was like last in the line. So then I pick up the spoon to water Tulsi. And it's just I pick up the spoon, and when brahmachari comes, he whispers in my ear, Gurudev said, you cannot worship Tulsi Maharani with pants on. So I just dropped the spoon in the cup, you know? I said, how Gurudev? How he saw that, you know? It's dark, there's so many devotees, he's in the front, I'm behind 30 devotees, you know? I'm hiding back there. And Gurudev didn't miss anything. Nothing. Because Krishna tell him. So Krishna will expose you. If you're trying to cheat somehow, right? He'll tell Krishna, he'll tell the Guru, you know, this person's not doing something properly. And then the Guru says, hey, nonsense, why are you doing like this, you know? Gurudev will call you, hey, you know, you're doing like this. How does Gurudev know like this? Why he said like that? Because otherwise, how, if Krishna doesn't control the Guru, how can they help you? If the Guru doesn't know, if Krishna knows what is your problem, he knows what is your question, he knows what is your doubt, he knows what are your obstacles, he knows everything. So if Krishna, he's the super soul, the Guru is not super soul, but that same super soul will tell the Guru, this person has a problem. This person's struggling, this person has some disturbance in their mind, the consciousness not right, something bothering them, they have some doubt, they have some big question, they need to answer it, right? And then the Guru spontaneously will say, how are you? What's bothering you? What's disturbing you? You have some question for me? Just like, how Gurudev is asking like this? How does he know? Because Krishna is telling him. That's a Guru. One time I asked one preacher, he's sometimes giving classes, I said, how are the devotees? How's everybody's consciousness? And he said, I don't know everybody's consciousness. I said, then how you can be a preacher? If you don't know everybody's consciousness, that means you don't know your own consciousness. So if you don't know your own consciousness and you don't know everybody else's consciousness, how you can be a preacher? It's like a doctor who doesn't know, you know, how to take your pulse, right? He doesn't know the method of understanding your disease condition. How he can be a doctor? How he'll know which medicine to give you, what prescription to give you. All right? Anybody else?
Can I ask something?
This is very tiring, isn't it? This is not the easy type of hearing. This is like, it's making you work. It's not, okay, let me just sit and get some entertainment and some pleasure, some esoteric talk, and then you go. It's not like that type of experience, is it? It's more like a cleansing, cleaning. It's like a hard work. Sometimes I used to think that Gurudev, he took some cleansing, like some cleansing agent, and he took a wire brush. Agent, this wire brush, this type of cleansing. So it was either open heart surgery or wire brush, One day it's open heart surgery, next day it's wire brush.
Some variety.
Yeah. Sometimes before the open heart surgery, you have to make sure everything's clean, you know. Get ready for the surgery. You know. So not everybody looking for that type of sangha, you know. This is like, come on, you know. But this is actually what's required. But not a lot of people, they're not interested for that. Because it takes hard work. It takes a commitment. It takes a seriousness. And not, Prabhupada said, not everybody's so serious. So, tell me.
Maharaj, this is, I was reading a quote, and one Srila Prabhupada disciple,
Prabhupada's quote?
Srila Prabhupada disciple.
It's one of Srila Prabhupada's disciples.
Yeah.
He's going to give a quote.
Yeah, so he was saying something like, we can be doing the same spiritual religious activities every day, but without a proper consciousness, no results will come out.
What did he say?
We can be doing the same religious, spiritual activities every day, but without proper consciousness, no result will come out.
So my question was about, can we really experience a kind of peaceful mind while we are trying to do our process?
Can we experience a kind of peaceful mind if we're trying to do our process?
In a conscious way, because
In a conscious way? If we're trying to do our process in a conscious way, can we get some kind of peaceful
But
mind?
I'm trying to tie the second part of your question with the first part of your question. So first part you're saying that you can do same thing again and again and again, but you don't feel any real benefit. Right? You're doing externally, mechanically, robotically doing, but no real benefit, spiritual benefit you can perceive, right? Is that the point? And then? And then the second part?
and then comes the point about the
He's asking, can we get some peace if we're doing our own kind of process? We're making our own process. Can we get peace?
No,
Yeah,
because the process, it either has to come from Krishna or Maya. So if you try to not hear Krishna's instructions and Krishna's process for you, then you'll just manufacture, Maya will manufacture. She'll just create through mental speculation some other idea, some different process. Prabhupada said that way you think you're intelligent, you'll just manufacture, concoct what you're going to do or not do. But Prabhupada said this is exacting science. So hearing from Krishna through Guru Sadhu Shastra, those instructions are very scientific because those are Krishna's instructions. So to try to be Krishna conscious without understanding and following Krishna's instructions is not possible. Therefore there's no peace or happiness because it's not connected to Krishna. You understand? Karma, jnana, yoga, pious activity, esoteric, philosophical, academic. It's Maya. It's contaminated by Maya. So there can be no real peace. We read that, we were reading that the other night, right? That no one except Shuddha Bhakta can be peaceful. Because only someone who surrenders to Krishna will Krishna purify and control your mind and senses. Without surrender to Krishna, genuinely, there's no question of controlling or fixing or making the mind or senses peaceful. And without that, there's no question of real satisfaction or happiness.
And in the process, Maharaj, when we are practicing the process, when we are practicing the process of devotional service, doing Harinam, chanting, hearing Bhagavatam, can we have some kind of spiritual happiness? Like sometimes we experience like a kind of enthusiastic or determination. Sometimes we go down. Sometimes we can experience this spiritual happiness.
You get some kind of glimpse, some temporary glimpse. It's just like, you know, somebody who's a drug addict or alcoholic. They take drugs or they take some alcohol. They feel like everything's pretty good now. So there's moments where you feel like, okay, my mind and senses are reasonably pacified, but it's very chanchalam. You cannot fix it, especially by pouring gasoline on the fire. That will only agitate your mind and your senses. So you can get glimpses, but it will not last, because ultimately it's not satisfying to Krishna. So our soul finally will not really be satisfied. So if you're doing all so-called process without following the process, what is that process? You keep saying that, okay, you're not surrendered to Guru, not surrendered to Krishna, just making own way, doing devotional service, following the process, right? But the process begins with faith in Krishna and Guru. Without that intelligence, without that faith, without understanding that process, Rupa Goswami gives that process, Daoshana Sadhu Sangha. Then Bhajana Kriya. So you're talking about sadhana or Bhajana Kriya, the means, the process, but without Krishna and Guru, all of that process will not be effective. Because mercy of Krishna and Guru is what makes it effective. And all of that activities has to be offered as a servant, as a disciple of Krishna's representative. And then that Guru will offer your service through parampara all the way up to Krishna. Then it will be accepted. Then you'll feel the transcendental benefit of that process. You can shut it off. Does it shut off? Does that make sense?
Yeah. So what happens, Maharaj, in our process when we are not initiated by a guru, and we are trying to follow the Srila Prabhupada's instructions, we are trying to, what kind of purification is?
If you're sincere and wanting to follow Prabhupada and wanting to follow Krishna instruction, if it's genuine and sincere, then Krishna will take charge of you and send you to bona fide Guru. So nobody's saying don't do anything. It's because at some point you may do it sincerely and seriously. Then you'll get Krishna's mercy, then he'll send you to bona fide Guru. So okay, it's like pious activity, religious activity, pious activity, But if it's somehow some devotion, some cry of the soul, some sincerity comes out, Krishna he's the witness and the judge. And if it's for real, then he'll send you and to give you shelter under the guidance of his representative. That's how you'll know that your prayers and your chanting and your service was accepted by Krishna. Is that the reward will be that he'll give you shelter and protection at the lotus feet of spiritual master. If that's not happening, then it means we're just not that serious or sincere. Then we're just manufacturing and concocting and just acting externally. Maybe it's not deep enough. So maybe we have to go deeper than that. That's a real process, means to go deeper. So you get some little benefit, some little feeling here, there, but it's not steady, and it's not substantial. It's a temporary glimpse of some peace and happiness. But you can get that even in materialistic sense gratification. What to speak of mental, intellectual sense gratification. Right? It's a different type of pleasure. Karmi, jnani, gross, more subtle, more intellectual. Also some pleasure is there. If you can use your mind intelligence and think about some high thing. That's also sense gratification. So there's some pleasure. But it doesn't satisfy the soul. Because Krishna is not satisfied. Because you're trying to enjoy separate from Krishna. So it says only when you really surrender to Krishna, sufficiently, properly, constantly, with no material motivation, then only the soul can be satisfied. Because only then Krishna is satisfied. Alright? That's why I always say, if you think that's it, you're satisfied with your results, then you won't do more than that. If you think there's something more than that, or you're not satisfied with your results, and you become very eager and inquisitive to know what else is available, then you may get some opportunity. Alright? Alright, thank you everyone, appreciate it. Jai Shri Shri Guru Garanga, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Govinda Swami, Sarveda Bhakta Vrinda, Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.
Shri Gurudev ki jai.
Did you learn anything? Hare Krishna. It's like a workout, right? Like a physical, mental, emotional, spiritual workout. It's a real yoga. I told you I was a yoga teacher. Because I understood what is the purpose of yoga. So who's better yoga teacher, me or you? You might be able to stretch the body, but can you stretch the mind and the intelligence and the soul? That's a real yoga, right? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Good night, Mother.
Hare Bol.
Hare Krishna. Better? Sure.
One question I'll ask you, please.
Tomorrow? You're going to make me wait till tomorrow? What is your question? You can say? Tell me.
You had realizations? What was your realization?
So it's like when we are fault finding, when I try to find someone's fault.
Yeah.
It's, when I assume that this person is so and so, that this person is so and so, it's like because I'm not the super soul, so I am not in his heart. I don't really know anything about him.
That's true.
So that means actually is it I'm seeing my own fault.
Yeah.
I think that it is in him,
Yeah.
but because my mind is making it so that means
Yeah.
it's my own fault.
Yeah. Because fault-finding tendency is there because we have critical ability to use our intelligence and senses. But what we're really trying to measure, we can't really understand it or see it with material intelligence and material senses. So you make mistakes. So that's why you have to more depend on Krishna to give you intelligence and faith. Because that intelligence and faith will convince you, not your material intelligence and your sense perception. Because we may not know the heart and motivation and consciousness of someone. You may see some external fault. Prabhupada said everyone in the material world has some fault. No doubt about it. But Prabhupada said, but if I present perfect knowledge to you perfectly, without adding and subtracting anything, that's my perfection. So understand what is the perfection that you're looking to hear. Other thing may some fault, some bodily problem, or some cultural issue, or some external thing is there, no doubt. But unless you get mercy of Krishna and Guru, and you have that kind of realization and faith, nobody can speak like that. So that's what should be overriding your acceptance or not acceptance. Krishna's intelligence and faith. All right? Find fault with yourself. Because you already said previously how many bad things you were doing, right? So keep yourself busy looking at own fault. Everybody has some fault, right? But I always think like, that's between Guru and Krishna. They have a Guru, they're in the process, they're trying their best to follow the process, then their Guru and Krishna will say. That's not my lookout, right? I have enough problem looking out how to clean my heart and consciousness. So just redirect your critical analysis internally. There's enough work to do there, isn't it? And let Guru and Krishna figure the other things out, right? We're not going to solve all of these things, all right? Hare Krishna. And it's based on the pride also, right? Don't be proud, be humble. Allow yourself to be a little humble, all right? Hare Krishna.